And welcome back. Delighted to be joined by Jurgen Ries, who's the CEO of ASYS Corporation, or ASYS GmbH, I guess it's called.
ASYS GmbH,
Yeah,
nice to see you again, Trevor.
Okay, so since we last spoke, I mean, business for your company has exploded, literally. Tell us a little bit about where that business is coming from and what has been affecting it.
Well, we are operating in three different areas, So one is the electronic sector we are in. The exhibition we are in is the electronic industry. The other one is the energy sector and the life science industry. Mm-hmm. So in the electronic industry, there are things like the autonomous driving. So we are quite heavily invested in final assembly solutions for camera assembly and such kind of technologies. Yeah. There's demand very, very strong. Also foreseeable future, very strong. Mm-hmm. In the energy sector, it's solar industry, fuel cell industry, very strong demand. Right. And life science is anyway growing. So these are areas where a lot of future trends are very stable and there is a high demand. And the way we operate is that the technologies we develop, we can use across this kind of different sectors. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we distribute our business over there.
Interesting. Well, I've got certain views on the EV industry, which, I don't need to go into today, but I mean, you're saying you're working in fuel cells. Fuel cells is really interesting, but the applications so far seem to be for things like trains, trams, and very heavy vehicles. Yeah. Is that really where its future is?
Well, there will be a mix of different kind of technologies. Battery will get better and better, and battery is heavily invested on the cars. But for the more heavy kind of vehicle applications with a big battery pack is more difficult. So the fuel cell is there interesting. So our customers there, they are like in the truck industry, or the solid state one, which is like powering whole facilities. Or like if you see a server park from Google, which on very high electric consumption, they want to go green and they use typical fuel cell to power the whole server park. Yeah. So there's the demand very strong there, and it's growing exponentially.
Yeah. So it has certain applications that it really fits in well. Yeah. That's interesting. So what's happening in the biosciences field?
Well, there's as well. The things get more smart in this area, like smart pads and all this kind of technologies, and there's also huge quantities behind. So what we do, we call it the medical electronics. So we serve this kind of areas where the customer has an electronic life science application, but it's built within some electronics. Mm-hmm. And we have meanwhile acquired the technologies and also the process behind, because GMP standards, all these medical standards we have to fulfill. And over the last years, we built a lot of knowledge there, and meanwhile, it's for us a huge contributor of our overall business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, there's huge expansion and opportunities there. We had one presentation at our conference on Monday called Lab on Chip, and this was a lady who'd come from the microelectronics field, but she was at the University of Bath, and they developed basically a lab on a chip which comprised microelectronics and fluidics. Yeah. And it was trying to control the control of the fluid, but around the electronics. And it was a fascinating...
but the things is coming,
Yeah.
So we have customers producing small laboratories, like fluid measurement, which then... Now, in a doctor, you take a fluid from a body and had to send in a laboratory, but they do it on the spot.
On the spot, yeah.
And demand, this is you can do everywhere. So this is really interesting.
Yeah, I've often wondered. We've had smell sensors around for years now. Why you don't just walk into the doctor's surgery and they ask you to open your mouth and you breathe into it? But I suppose all these things are going to come for the future. So looking at the other areas of ASYS, the other area that you're heavily involved in is the materials management side. Yeah. How has been the uptake in that? Because it's the single biggest potential saving for companies, electronics manufacturers.
Absolutely. Years ago we acquired the company Totec, part of the ASYS group, now purely on to let's say complete our portfolio in terms of material logistics. And we just opened the new facility of Totec because growth is so strong that we just had to move in a bigger facility, and just last month actually we opened this one. So for us, it's one of the most critical things to have in our solutions portfolio, because the customer expect now less and less operators. It's all difficult to get people. So how can we manage everything around? Storage itself was an issue now because of the supply chain. And we have almost no project anymore where we don't, even like technology sector like fuel cell, you know. We have a customer there where we have the complete turnkey. Also there we handle the material logistics. We do the bipolar plates, stack them, store them in a warehouse, and it's fully automated, you know,
Right.
with AIV transport. So because they told us very clearly, we don't get people there, so offer away.
Interesting.
That's the way it comes to us, actually.
Lots of opportunities out there, and part of your growth has been through acquisition, and as you mentioned there, is that something that you see that you'll be continuing to do going forward?
Well, historically, our acquisitions were always to acquire technology knowledge. So never like market share or capacity, but different technologies. Like when we have been taking over Totec, when we have been taking over ECRA, you know.
Okay.
The last acquisition we did this year, the company Myco, which is now the ASYS Assembly Solutions, this was purely about capacity, because this was on manufacturing for customized machines. So we didn't take over customers there or their portfolio. They just purely manufacture for us. So this was purely to address capacity in terms of space, workers with a manufacturing site here and in China, so in Germany and in China. So for the future, for sure, we will further look into any other kind of technology we want to maybe acquire if we not develop it by ourselves. And as well, for sure, we always monitor on the situation where we are growing and what kind of capacity needs we have. But currently, we are very happy to have Myco now on board as ASYS Assembly Solutions, ASL as we call them. But let's digest this first now.
Okay. Well, you know, as I say, there's lots happening in the world, and you know, of course, we're moving into it's a Productronica year. I'm sure we're going to see lots of new things coming from ASYS at that show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We will be highly invested there again. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll look forward to seeing what you have there. But anyway, for now, Jurgen, I want to thank you very much for coming in to give us an update and what's happening.
Thanks.
And you know, we'll see you in Munich in November.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.